Before we get into this episode, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. You can hit the notification button so you can get updated weekly on all of our latest content. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, tell us what you want to see next below. You've called out seed oils. Tell us about seed oils.
The cool thing about seed oils is that it's really coming to light lately about how prevalent they are, why they're used, and how bad they are. But I kind of feel like I was one of the OG back in like 2016, 2017, talking about them. The interesting thing is that they're in everything for a reason because they're super cheap. And they actually used to be machine lubricants for like machinery and farming. And then grandma used to always cook with tallow, butter, lard. And then around the 20s and 30s, big ag figured out that we can turn this machine lubricant into really cheap cooking oils and sell it as something that's cheap and healthy and put like an American Heart Association stamp on there. And we bought it because they put a big marketing campaign behind it. But the truth is that when you have a canola seed or a sunflower, that in and of itself isn't that bad, but it's so perverted to go from that to the cooking oil bottle that they all look golden and healthy, right? But they're all highly inflammatory. They're essentially rancid. They've been deodorized and bleached. They've been chemical laced. And it's one of the primary reasons we have such an inflammatory response in our diets.
What I think is so crazy about that, and as I've gotten older and realized when you look at the shelves, what's crazy is that they're all the same color.
Yes.
And that's alarming because, you know, when you cook like anything now, it doesn't look that, it's alarming that they're all just a wall of the same color. How does that process even happen?
Yeah, it's essentially like the factory process of it is we're bleaching it, we're deodorizing it, and we're making it so it looks exactly the same because a bottle of soybean oil and canola oil and corn oil, I was just at the grocery store showing that big wall, they're all golden and beautiful, but they shouldn't be because even if you look at olive oil, especially extra virgin, which is so good for us, there's always going to be different shades of green. There might be sediment on the bottom if they're filtered or unfiltered. So I think that's been one of the biggest things that's come to light the last few years that people realize, okay, well, if I'm not going to use canola oil to sear my steak or my cake recipe calls for canola oil, what should I use? And it's just really easy now. You can use avocado oil, which is a healthy fat. I cook with a really cool fat at home now called algae oil. And it's made by fermenting algae, and they just press the fat out of it, and it has a high smoke point, and it has no flavor like a canola oil, but it's incredibly high in omega-9 fatty acid, so it's not inflammatory. So I always tell people, like, if you want the easiest baby steps, like I always think in my head, you know, the movie with Bill Murray, What About Bob? Mm-hmm. You know, so baby steps, like the baby steps to having a healthier lifestyle is just cutting out seed oils, which are in everything in the grocery store. If you walk down the middle aisle, you'll see them pretty much in everything. But if you just learn to read the ingredients and then at home swap out those oils with better for you oils like avocado oil, ghee, grass-fed tallow, grass-fed butter, then you're doing 90% of the work already.
Is there a brand where you can't go wrong, that you just love the brand and everyone could go buy it, any kind of flavor, and it would be good?
Are you saying for oil or for anything?
For oils.
Yeah, so for oils, Primal Kitchen, Chosen Foods. And then actually to take it a step further, I was just thinking about this the other day, like, is there a brand in today's world where you can walk to the grocery store and trust everything they make? I could only probably think of one off the top of my head, and that's Siete, which is here in Austin too, right? Everything they make is with awesome ingredients, no flavorings, no seed oils, no yeast extracts, no flavor enhancers. One of the biggest lies, I think, in the grocery store, do you ever like walk around and you read the ingredients and you see something called natural flavors or organic flavoring?
Yeah.
So like that is the biggest lie in the grocery store. And I've been like mad about it for years because artificial flavorings we know are probably bad for us, right? Those are actually derived from petroleum. They're horrible. But natural flavoring makes it seem like it's like good for you. And it's really an unregulated term. So when you pick up like a vanilla yogurt or a raspberry yogurt and there's no raspberry, it's just flavoring, it's not actually a good thing.
So what could natural flavoring be composed of? Like what are the things that are able to kind of like squeak by and trick consumers into thinking it's natural, but really
Yeah. So while artificial flavors, the only rule about that the government has is it cannot be from anything real. It has to be 100% fake. Natural flavors has to start with something real. So if it's raspberry natural flavors, it has to start with a flavoring derived from the compounds of the raspberry, but then it goes to a flavoring institute. They're usually called flavor and fragrancing houses, and they'll manipulate it with hundreds of synthetic solvents and chemicals to make it linger on your tongue a little more or less, make it hit a more floral note. So it's one of the biggest lies in the grocery store. So I always say, if you see that, put it down. It's one step above artificial flavors.
Here's where I spiral, and Michael thinks I'm crazy.
I don't think I know.
When stuff is made with almond flour or, I don't know, almond milk, then I start thinking, but what are the almonds sprayed with? Like, how do you say it? I always say it wrong. Glyphosate.
Glyphosate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, even though it says, okay, this is made with almond flour, then I'm like, okay, but what's on the almonds?
Yeah.
Am I crazy to think that?
I'm going to side with Michael. You're a little crazy.
A little crazy.
Yeah. So, because that's where like I draw the line.
I know.
Right?
I was like, this is not Bobby approved.
I think I try to draw the line somewhere. It's like, okay, if something is clearly bad for us, canola oil, artificial flavors, artificial colors made from dyes. Okay, these are just known carcinogens, banned in other countries, we allow it here. But when you start to go next level, like you said, Lauren, that's when you start to spiral.
Because you could spiral, you could take the same thought process and be like, well, the cow, but did he eat grass that was pesticides? And but the grass, like you could just, you'll go nuts for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so I would draw the line somewhere, you know, come back down to normalcy and you'll be.
I'm like the guy in Better Call Saul with the aluminum tin hat. I can really tell a story. Michael sent me this meme the other day of Xena the warrior jumping across like
no, it was the Xena the warrior princess. Do you remember that show back in the day? She's jumping through the air doing front flips for like the meme goes on. It says like me jumping to conclusions. Like that's Lauren.
Yeah.
She's like going.
I mean, it is rooted in some truth. So you're not like a conspiracy tin hat person. Like, yes, glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup. Roundup is the most common herbicide. It's sprayed like crazy.
It's not crazy,
no,
right?
It's not, that's not crazy. But then thinking like, oh my God, were these almonds on the tree sprayed with Roundup?
It's out of control.
Oh my God. Like then it starts
Johnny
to go.
Appleseed.
Yeah, then it's like just go to your bubble and eat your liquid food. And like, you know, we have to draw the line somewhere. And I try to make it so like we're not going to be too crazy with it.
I just found out that I've been cleaning my fruits and vegetables wrong. I was cleaning them with vinegar and baking soda. And I just found out that the vinegar like negates the baking soda. It neutralizes it, and you're just supposed to do it with baking soda.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that. Yeah.
All right.
I just eat the fucking fruit. I literally just grab it and eat it.
I mean, I'll side with Lauren in this one. I would wash it in something, right? That fruit has been shipped from God knows where.
Yeah,
but
you're eating it with the Roundup.
Here's the thing, though. What I love about your content, and we're going to get into that in your story, is that you allow people to enjoy and live their life. Like we have people on this show, and God bless them. They go down so far these rabbit holes. They take such extreme measures. I'm like a real 80-20 kind of guy. Like I will do, like, listen, if I can avoid these artificial ingredients and natural flavors, and if I can get rid of seed oils, and if I can, drink better water, like I'm going to do that, of course. Like if I'm a better cleaning supplies.
But I had In-N-Out yesterday.
But I'm not going to like.
But what's in it?
No, I don't really know.
Sometimes I'll tell people
Bobby.
that don't know me very well, like I'll be drinking a margarita. They're like, you drink alcohol? I'm like, yeah, once in a while I have fun. Or I'll eat, and now I don't do it all the time, like maybe like once a quarter. Like I'm going to live my life is what I'm saying. And I think people can become neurotic with this. And there's such a movement now in the health space, which is great. It's ripe time for people to start taking ingredients seriously. But you can drive yourself crazy if you go too far down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah. I mean, I try to make it relatable. So like if you're going to have potato chips, right, which we know are not healthy for us, right? Well, the ones cooked in avocado oil versus the canola oil are going to be your better, what I call Bobby approved options, right? Because avocado oil is anti-inflammatory, not bleached, processed to death. Canola oil is. Even ice cream.
The food industry itself has been able to get away with murder, and really sometimes literally in cases, with the way they've been able to market to us as a population. Like some of the things that, when big tobacco came in and bought a lot of these companies, some of these marketing practices are abhorrent, right? And like they take advantage of consumers, and you think you're doing the right thing when really, like someone's reading natural ingredients and they're trying to feed their family and they think like they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Little do they know.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's all food marketing. It's very little regulation. I just did a video a few weeks ago about like, what do these top 7 food labels mean? Because when people see like the USDA organic stamp or certified non-GMO, like it has warm, fuzzy feelings for themselves. And they think like, oh, this organic fruit isn't sprayed. Well, no, it is still sprayed. It's just not sprayed with synthetic preservatives, and it's better for the soil. We're not sterilizing the soil, so our, top soil turns into dust and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it goes back to relatability. So I don't care if you want to eat ice cream, potato chips, In-N-Out burger, right? As long as you just know what's in there and know, like, it's not a diet. Like, I'm not preaching, go on a keto diet, go on this diet. It's just know what goes in your body. And yeah, if you're going to have a cheat of a margarita or fast food, yeah, whatever. We know it's a cheat, but there are ways to eat foods that we all love every day, but just with better for you swaps that will make your body feel a lot better.
What's the biggest lie that we've been told as American people when it comes to the food industry?
Gosh. Well,
Girl, let me pull out my scroll.
yeah, there's a lot. Let me go to the list here. Well, I think, I'm a child of the 80s, right? I'm 47 years old. So I grew up in a time when they told us fat and butter was really bad for us. And instead, we should eat this margarine because it's made of plant oils and it's good for us. And they got rid of all the fatty snacks and just replaced them with sugary snacks. So, like, I don't know if you remember, but there was this Devil's Food cookie cake from Snackwell's.
Of course.
Right. Oh, Snackwell's in a green box. Unbelievable.
Why do I not know that
How
one?
do you, Michael doesn't have any attachment to food. So he doesn't remember the
just a
Snackwell's
psychopath,
box.
right?
No, they're like the little mud pies or like moon cakes.
Mooncakes.
And they're Snackwell's and they
Yes.
were marketed as like low fat cookies.
Yeah. Yeah. Low fat or even fat free, I think.
Fat free.
But what they did is just pump up the sugar and everything like that. So
I'm
I
going to
think
show him to Michael. Keep talking.
Yeah,
I've probably seen him. I just
you probably can't get them anymore. It's, that was here and there, but they just basically, and it's so easily just brainwashed everyone. Oh my God, stop using butter, stop eating fat. We're going to go to low fat. And then they realized that it was all wrong, a dozen years later. And we were just eating high sugar. It's exactly right.
Yeah, I know those
the green
things.
box, yeah.
Yeah.
They were so good.
I like
Did Mom used to have these?
Yeah, Mom used to have those for sure.
Mom for sure had these.
Yeah.
The cream sandwiches.
I like the
Oh,
white
the
ones.
the double fudge cakes. That's the one I used
I
to
like
have.
the white
have
ones,
that
the
one.
white cookies, with the vanilla frosting.
Yeah,
I think.
it was so popular in the 90s.
Okay,
You're
but,
right.
yeah, but go on.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just things like that. But the way they get away with it so quickly. So go back to the 1920s and 1930s. Like, for ages, we all cooked with lard and butter. And then all of a sudden, they just switched us to Crisco, really, right? Which was crystallized cottonseed oil. And they just made it seem like it's better for us and healthier. And it worked. I mean, people switch so darn quickly. And like, it's crazy how quickly that can happen.
Mm.
So like little by little, that's how just big food, big ag tricked us. And you mentioned a second ago, Michael, basically they took all of the food scientists and the marketing team from tobacco, put them on food. And next thing you know, they were just showing us studies and sponsored studies that these foods were good for us and better for you swap. So unfortunately, it's really easy for them to do that. And then we trust them and we adopt that to our everyday life.
They did the same. I mean, listen, the same thing happened with like animal proteins. Like humans have evolved eating, and listen, if you have a moral reason, to each his own, but humans evolved eating animal proteins for thousands and thousands of years. And all of a sudden it was demonized and told us it was bad for us. Like it's just,
Yeah.
What I always think when it comes to this stuff is as a human beings, evolution is a real thing. You evolve a certain way. You can't just all of a sudden turn off evolution, right? Like what you're talking about with like the Criscos, we turned a part of our evolution off by saying like, we're going to introduce this foreign product that we've never digested before into our system. It's not going to go well.
Yeah, for sure. And then it's amazing how quickly that plant-based craze just like took over, right? And all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, it's bad to eat meat, even though it's pasture-raised, grass-fed, regen farmed. We need to eat our plant burgers that are made of, soy, seed oils, cellulose, gums. It's a joke.
How did you get into this world? How did you initially become so interested in this lane?
It goes back to my mom. So I grew up cooking in the kitchen with my mom. I have vivid memories of her baker's rack in the kitchen with like Julia Child's book and French cooking book. So I was really always into cooking and like transforming raw ingredients into a final dish that we could enjoy. And then as soon as I turned 16 years old, I started hitting the gym with my buddies and I wanted to put quality food into my body and know that what I'm going to make is going to help fuel my body also. And right around that time also, my mother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And so then it just really became apparent that, okay, we have to take this seriously. We have to know exactly the food that goes in your body because that can heal you. ultimately she passed away in 2015 after, thank you, a 15-year battle with MS. But that was really important to me. And it kind of like transformed the way that I thought about food as fuel, as nutrition, to wait a second, like food is really supposed to be nutritious. And so that's when I started realizing that it's one thing to be eating healthy. Like, what does that mean? It's more about like, okay, I want to eat food that I know is going to help my body thrive, and maybe other people would want to learn about that too.
And correct me if I'm wrong, is one of the causes of MS inflammation?
Yeah, it has a lot to do with it. And the more inflammation, then the more it affects like the myelin sheath breakdown there. So like there was a time I remember when we were doing bee sting therapy at my mom's. So my dad would buy these boxes of bees in the mail, and like he would sting her along the spine, and she was like yelling out like crazy, but it created an anti-inflammatory response, you know? But if you think about the average diet, right, going back to what we just said, it's very inflammatory. So even if you don't even have a chronic disease or MS, like a chronic state of inflammation is really, really bad for multiple reasons.
Is there a specific thing that causes it, or is it a combination of things?
The MS?
Yeah.
That's, I think up until like even now, like they can't even pin down exactly what it is. It's one of those weird things where they don't know if it's a virus or what. And the weird thing with her is that her brother had it too. So her brother had it early on from like teenage years on. And then my mother was diagnosed with it in 99. So at that point she was like 68. And so hers slowly kind of progressed, and she went from walking to being wheelchair bound to being very immobile. But yeah, it's one of those things where like they can't really pinpoint, even to this day, like what is the root cause of it.
It's so interesting. Like I know someone that grew up in Bakersfield, and in Bakersfield they spray all the crops with all the pesticides. And the person that I know has autoimmune, and she's always sick and she doesn't feel good. And a lot of people she knows have the same things. They have allergies. They have all these things. It's almost like sometimes you're a byproduct of the environment that you grew up in. Maybe it's not even genetic, but it sounds like your mom's brother also. It's like, it's just
there's
weird.
Something
yeah,
there.
there's something.
Yeah, I can't tie it back, obviously, but there's got to be something they were both exposed to.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty rare to have that, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. There's something to that. I just don't know what it is.
How do you help people on a day-to-day shop better? Like what have you seen that's really life transformative for the people that follow you?
Yeah. So it's really cool because when I'm at the grocery store making these videos, I'll run into a lot of people who say like, you have helped me transform my health. I'm off of my blood pressure medication.
So cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. And like, it's interesting too, because I've been doing this for 13 years now. So like, you guys know when you're in your creator mode, like you're dialed in, you know, your videos are reaching a lot of people, you're helping people. But then when you have that interaction of meeting them and they tell you how their pantry and their health has transformed for the whole family. I see people walking around the grocery store using my app. So I have this app where you can scan a barcode and it highlights the bad ingredients, and it tells you if it's Bobby approved or not. And if it's bad, it tells you why the ingredients are bad, and it gives you a better recommendation. And so like, I'll just see people using it in the grocery store, and then I'll just pop up behind them like, oh, it's Bobby approved. So yeah, so I know it's really cool to see that people take my advice. And once again, even cooler, I think, is I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. And that's probably one of the biggest knocks against me.
People give you shit for that?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But I actually counter to that. It's probably a good thing, because like if I was a nutritionist or preaching like the food pyramid, which is completely backwards, then I would just be peddling the same, jargon that's making us a fat, sick, chronically ill country.
You know what's scary though about what you do and what's gone on in this space in general is, you'll have things like American Heart Association approved or like USDA organic, and like when the average consumer, including myself over the years, sees that, you assume that people that have gotten these kinds of degrees or expertise have given this stamp of approval and that this is actually good for you.
Yeah.
And then what you find out later as you go down the rabbit hole is that like somehow, somewhere along the way, they were able to get that stamp of quote unquote approval from these credentialed people, somebody somewhere at some point that had that expertise signed off.
Yep.
And it's not good for you. The American people and just people in general have been misled with labels like that. And they assume because the credentialed people have put the stamp of approval. Like when I see that before I started doing the show, when I see a label like that, I'm assuming that some medical board or some medical group got together and said, hey, that's good for you.
For sure.
Right?
But then it goes back to our conversation before about that stamp may have been done because the company themselves paid for the study and said, here are the results. Like, we qualify to be heart healthy. So like, it's totally perverted. Just like they will convince you immediately that plant protein is better than meat protein, that Crisco is better than butter. I mean,
yeah, but the average consumer has no idea that that study even took place. They just see that. And like, again, if you're just, and the companies like this, they assume like, hey, like a bunch of doctors got together and said like, that's the choice for you.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I think like the term Bobby approved has taken off, because like, it's not about heart health or whatever. It's literally a ingredient base. So if a product is Bobby approved, it has what I call best in class ingredients that are good for you and will not hinder your health. It doesn't look at, the calorie count, the saturated fat. You can do that research if you're interested. But if something is made with canola oil, if something has corn syrup, it's not going to be good for you. Like, there's no subjective reasoning there. That is a fact. It's not Bobby approved.
What are brands that people had thought were good for them that you've called out? That you did the whistleblower.
Sure, the brands love you.
Yeah. I used to be a lot harsher in my early days when I was a young buck. Yeah. I used to be a lot harsher when I would call that out. And then like, I realized, well, I don't want to attack the brands themselves. I just really want to go after the ingredients only. So like, I just go after the ingredients. So if a brand is using like bad ingredients, like, also for legal reasons, I'm not going to call them out. I'm going to call out, oh man, it's such a bummer they're using high fructose corn syrup or yellow number 5 as opposed to coconut sugar or beta carotene for the color.
When my children go to a birthday party,
yes,
and we give them the birthday cake and the pizza and all the things that are there, they come home and act like completely different children. And listen, at our house, I would say our house is 80-20. Like, we try to give them eggs and steak and broccoli and green beans, but like, they'll have a muffin or a cookie or a goldfish or whatever. But it's limited.
Not a goldfish, but
it's a bunny, an Annie's bunny. Yeah. Which isn't, I just learned, great for their teeth. I heard it's the biggest cavity giver.
Bunnies? Because of
bunnies.
The flour?
Our doctor, or our dentist, told us that those bunnies and goldfish get stuck to the teeth and give cavities more than sugar.
Really?
Yes.
Well, they're made of like enriched wheat flour or wheat flour, which essentially is a sugar. So I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it gets stuck to the teeth.
Huh.
Anyways,
I think it's more about it sticking on the teeth for long periods of time with children. Like adults aren't going to run around with like cheese all over their teeth. Yeah. Kids
and brush their teeth. Poorly,
I just can't believe how my kids act when they have like a sugar splurge. And then I started to tell Michael, I'm like, I could understand why parents think that then their children has ADHD or ADD or whatever, like a learning disability. If they're getting fed that every day, they act crazy.
Yeah.
What has been your experience with kids and certain foods and dyes?
Yeah. So I have one daughter, Rose. She'll turn 6 pretty soon. And so being around us and growing up in the kitchen, like, she's had a really, really clean diet. But I totally agree when you say that, Lauren, because when you go to any birthday party, it's always the bright red and the bright yellow frosted cupcakes.
With the plastic balloons.
Yes, exactly. And so there is undoubtedly a link between the colors and behavioral issues.
Oh.
And I just noticed it, like, I think it was a week ago. Rose went to a party and she had one of those. And then she was a wreck afterwards. She was crying in the car and she was acting like really goofy, and that never happens, So it bothers me that like the parents will do this as a celebration for the birthday, but all they're doing is just hyping their kids up on these colors that are known behavioral disruptors.
So what would you recommend as parents? Because I don't want my kids to miss out on the birthday celebration. You just give it to them and let them act crazy?
Yeah, no. So like, that goes back to what I said earlier. Like, there's always a simple swap for everything. Like, I will always find you the better for you option. So I'll never say like, oh, sorry kids, you can't have your cupcakes for your birthday, have a fruit bar. So there are plenty of frostings out there. Like, for example, you go to the store and Simple Mills makes a nice frosting that isn't colored with yellow number 5 or blue number 1. It doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in there. It might have a little bit of palm oil, but this is where we do the 80-20.
Right.
And it's sweetened with coconut sugar. So there is an option. So make your cupcakes, use your crappy flour if you want, that's fine, but don't put the red frosting on there. Just use a normal frosting. You don't have to put, the balloons on top and the stuff like that and get them all hopped up on that. So there is an easy swap. It's just when the parents just call the local bakery and say, make me 24, red cupcakes, It's a little bit of
I mean, you could see if kids are eating that every day, you can
Yeah.
see why they're being diagnosed with certain things.
Well, why I like doing this show and, why I appreciate what you do is I really don't even take the perspective of like blaming the parents. I think the majority of people still, if they don't listen to shows like this one and others, and if they don't follow people like yourself, you assume you go in the grocery store, this is on the label, it's good for you. I talk to my dad all the time and he'd be like, when I was a kid, I had this. I'm like, well, ingredients have changed since you were a kid. You're 80 years old now. It's a little bit different. And most people don't if most people realize these ingredients, especially the color dyes, which many of them are now being banned, have these harmful chemicals in that are causing these brain alterations. Like most parents say, I would never touch that. They just, it's a lack of awareness, and it's not a fault. It's more of just, we've not been given enough information.
Yeah. Like it's been going on for years. Mm-hmm. We'll just continue it. How bad can it be? But like you said, like the stuff from the 60s, cupcakes at parties are vastly different for now. And there's a lot of data out there to back up that, these colors are really disruptive for the kids. So let's just swap it out. No one's taking away their cake. They can have their cake and eat it too.
If someone's on a budget, what's the best investment?
Yeah, I love doing budget stuff because like a lot of times people will associate eating cleaner or healthier with more expensive. And that can be the case, but I do a lot of videos and content from like Aldi's and Walmart. So there's no problem going there. So the best investment would be cooking at home. Like, I don't care how expensive you think eating out is. If you go to any casual restaurant, In-N-Out Burger.
So good. Oh, so good.
It's going to be leaps and bounds more expensive. So I'll do these fun videos where I'll do the cost comparison. So like I'll do the clean Bobby approved version of Chick-fil-A versus theirs. Or we did one where it was like Buffalo Wild Wings, right? It was during like March Madness. And I went to the restaurant and ordered, and I thought it was a joke, but 6 wings was $13. 6 little wings, right? So then I made like 6 wings at home with pasture raised chicken for like $3 and change. So number one, the best investment is cooking at home.
And you don't get all the microplastics from the Postmates.
Yes.
Like
She's
Michael,
starting to go down that rabbit hole
there I
again,
go, but I can't help it. Michael's like ordering like a steak that's like a $40 steak from Postmates, and it comes in a heated plastic thing. And I'm like, what is the point of this? It's like plastic. I'm sorry.
No, you're right with that one. You're right.
Just give it to her.
I'll give you that one.
We don't need it. We don't want to get stuck on this for too long.
Ahead.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. Or then if you want to go even deeper about,
I love how I like judge my husband, and then I ate In-N-Out yesterday.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Well, how about you go even
not
deeper?
eat In-N-Out was me.
There you go. What about when you go to the coffee shop and you get it in those paper cups? Well, they're all lined with a thin layer of plastic.
But then it still has plastic.
But it's not as bad as putting 205 degree liquid in there, right? So we can go down that rabbit hole all day.
Yeah.
Right. So like I think, I don't know if you can do it anymore, but you used to be able to go to any coffee shop and bring like your Yeti and they would pour it in there.
Yeah.
But now maybe because of cooties, they won't do that. I don't know.
Okay. So go on with your best investments.
Yeah. So,
eating at home.
So eating at home, which means you just get a couple cooking utensils, right? So obviously not Teflon.
Okay.
Right. So that's the pans we all grew up with. Teflon nonstick. They work great, but we know that the Teflon is carcinogenic and they wear off over time. So you get a nice ceramic pan, you get a couple utensils, you buy the food at the grocery store. You don't order it with Instacart and stuff like that, right? And you just go to Aldi, you go to Walmart, you cook your own food, and you just don't go out nearly as much, and you'll save so much money. And then you can find yourself splurging on other things.
Quick break to talk about YNAB. One thing that drives me so nuts is when people work so hard for their living and then they end up not having what they want at the end of their pay period or at the end of the month. This is why I love YNAB so much. You put so much time and effort into earning money and you deserve to spend it without stress or second guessing. YNAB, spelled YNAB, is a life-changing app that helps you do what you want with the money you have. You'll create a flexible plan for your money through the simple practice of giving every dollar, keeping you focused on the life that you want. We recently had the founder of YNAB on this podcast. We did a whole hour-long, if not longer, podcast on exactly how this application works. And the takeaway that I took from it is that this platform helps you give every dollar a job to do so that you can keep more of your hard-earned money and do more of the things you want. Whether that's covering your mortgage or funding your 401k without sacrificing dinners with friends or that long-awaited trip to Greece, with YNAB, you'll stop wondering where your money goes and start deciding where it'll take you instead. 92% of users report feeling less money stress since using YNAB. YNAB, and the average YNAB user saves nearly $600 in their first month and $6,000 in their first year. When we did the episode on YNAB, this was a stat that absolutely blew my mind. What could you do with an extra $6,000 in your pocket? A lot. Life is short. Spend it well with YNAB. Of course, we have an incredible offer for our listeners and viewers. TSC Him and Her Show listeners can claim an exclusive 3-month free trial with no credit card required at www.ynab.com/skinny. Again, that's ynab.com/skinny. Nothing to lose. 3-month free trial. Check it out.
My hair has never been thicker. And yes, pregnancy has been amazing, but also there's other things and tools that I reach for in my hair toolbox. I microneedle my scalp. I do tons of scalp massage. I eat a lot of organs. I eat liver. I think it's so good for the hair. I have a lot of meat. I have my meat bowls, and then I use a supplement. And the supplement that I use for hair thinning and shedding is Nutrafol. If you're unfamiliar, Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand. It's trusted by over 1.5 million people. Anything truly worthwhile takes time and effort, and with Nutrafol, see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair and less shedding in just 3 to 6 months. So everyone has a different root cause of hair thinning, and it's not really a one-size-fits-all approach. So what Nutrafol does is it has multiple formulas designed to give your body what it needs to grow and support your hair's unique needs. So for instance, if you're navigating postpartum or menopause, or you have a plant-based lifestyle, they really have you covered. This summer, stop worrying about your hair and start making memories. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code SKINNYHAIR. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code SKINNYHAIR. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code SKINNYHAIR.
Quick break to talk about one of our favorite long-term partners, and that is Just Thrive. Is that cookie calling your name at 3 p.m., that midnight fridge raid taking place in the middle of the night? If you feel like cravings are controlling you, it's not just willpower, it's actually your gut crying out for help. This is exactly why we've been talking about Just Thrive probiotics for so long now, but now we're also obsessed with their digestive bitters. We chatted all about them on our March episode with the Just Thrive founders. You have to check that one out if you missed it, because it was an incredible episode. Here's the thing. Modern diets lack essential bitter compounds that manage appetite hormones like GLP-1, the same hormone in those expensive weight management shots. But Just Thrive Digestive Bitters gives you the power of 12 clinically proven herbs that help your body break down food efficiency while naturally supporting GLP-1 production. All you have to do is just pop 2 tasteless capsules before your largest meal, and the difference is incredible. You get controlled cravings, less bloat, steady energy, and comfortable digestion. We know we can trust Just Thrive Probiotics because we have personally been customers and fans for close to 7 years now. This is what we take personally. This is what we recommend to friends. This is what we give to family, and you can check it out as well. Try Just Thrive Digestive Bitters and Just Thrive Probiotics today at justthrivehealth.com and use code TSC for 20% off your first order. Try Just Thrive Digestive Bitters and Just Thrive Probiotics today at justthrivehealth.com and use code TSC for 20% off your first order. That's justthrivehealth.com, code TSC. Your body will thank you, and make sure you take advantage of the 20% off your first order. You know what's funny too? We started having more home-cooked meals at the house, and I noticed I started getting more trim and feeling a lot better. And we don't realize when you go out all the time, again, you're eating out, you're spending the money, but also maybe you're not always getting the greatest ingredients. You know what I mean? And so many of us have been conditioned now, Postmates, Uber Eats, go out all the time, convenience. But I noticed when we started cooking more at home, I started getting much healthier.
What's a Bobby approved cocktail?
So that's interesting, because like if you're just going to get a straight up spirit, so like tequila is a clean spirit, vodka is a clean spirit. Like at home, I'll drink wine a few nights a week with my meal, but I drink natural wine, which is a long fermentation wine.
What brand do you like?
Dry Farm wine.
Okay.
Delicious.
Okay, we do too.
Yeah, I call it headache-free wine. I love it. But you get in trouble when you start adding the mixers, right? That are made of simple syrups and colors and stuff like that. But there's nothing wrong with having tequila made from fermented agave. You probably don't want to like go overboard with it, but
only like drink like half the bottle.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
What are some wellness things that you do for yourself that maybe you don't have to do with food?
Yeah, for sure. So I try to keep it pretty basic. So like when I watch the show and I see people like ice bathing at 4:59 and then, heat infrared sauna 5 minutes after, that's cool. And I'm sure there's benefits. For me, I try to get 7.5 hours to 8 hours of sleep every single night. Like to me, that's the most important thing. So like I will shut it down at 9:45 and just go to bed because I get up at 6:20. I do find that 10 minutes of red light therapy is really helpful. And we have the panels at home, but then I got lazy because I don't want to lay in front of the panels because I can't multitask. So now I just put the face mask on and I just do that while I'm like watching YouTube or something. So red light therapy, and then just getting in the gym and doing some kind of movement for 4 days a week. So like this morning before I flew here, I have this sled in my backyard, like the NFL players, right? So I just push it and then I walk backwards, like moonwalking, amazing for the legs. Then I do a few sit-ups and I'm done.
Are you into weightlifting?
Can't you tell, Lauren? I mean,
yeah, I can see a muscle. I can see. I just want you to confirm.
I will confirm the rumors. Yeah, but not anything like big. Like I'll just get in there like 3-4 days a week, toss the weights around, and then I'm done.
But you're active. You take care of yourself.
Yeah. I take care of myself. I'm actually a big fan of creatine too. I was really late to the train on that. Like I was taking that when I was 16 because it was cool back then. And then all of a sudden it came back like
what though? When we like, I could speak for both of us. I guarantee you were doing this. When we were taking creatine back in the day, you were probably taking so much and with the weight gain and you're doing the thing, it's like you're overdoing it.
Yeah.
Just like probably like taking quadruple the dose that was needed. Yeah,
yes.
I did the same thing.
Yeah. But I did notice, like, so I've been taking it now for maybe like 7 months. And like after 2 weeks, like I'm like, I have good energy. I can increase the weights a little more, and I don't sit at home. So like I have a standing desk. I'm standing all the time when I'm working. So like movement, and just a few tips of sleeping, little red light, and that's it.
What's the process that you go through to curate and vet for your app? Because I know that it's very specific.
Yeah. So the app was years and years of basically classifying products, but then it was actually a problem solved because people would DM me and email me dozens of times a day with a picture of X. Is this Bobby approved?
Oh my God.
And I was always reply. I'm like, oh, no, it's not approved because of whatever. So I told my wife, I'm like, let's just create an app where if somebody scans a barcode, like it should be doable, right? So, I'm like, okay, let's do it. She is a computer science master. So she's smart. And so we thought we would do it. It'd be $30,000 to make the app and it would take a little time. It was over $100,000 to do the app. It took a lot longer than expected. But the coolest part of that is like, there's millions of products at the grocery store. So how do we get it? Well, there are ways of plugging into like APIs, but what I did in the early days is I'd have scan parties. So we were living in Chicago back then, and I would have like 25 Bobby approved fans come, and we'd go to the grocery store and I'd be like, you're in this aisle, I'm in this aisle, and we'd just scan and build up the database. So now we have like 1.4 million products and growing in the store. And it purely is based upon my view of what ingredients are good for us and what ingredients are bad for us. So if a product you scan has a bad ingredient, it will highlight it. It will tell you why it's bad. And then you can scroll at the bottom and it tells you a better recommendation within that category. So if it's cereal or pasta or whatever.
For you personally, are there certain ingredients that are like absolute no-goes no matter what?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really stringent. Like I'll never waver. So that's one thing. Like if I'm steadfast in my belief that seed oils are bad, like you're not going to convince me that they're better. I don't care what studies you're citing or anything like that. So the ones we talked about, so if there's canola oil, soybean oil, if there's refined sugars, corn syrup, fake colors, natural flavorings, stuff like that, those are easy red flags to make something that is a product you shouldn't consume.
Okay, can we do... Yeah. I have been eating the same bowl of cereal every single night since I've gotten pregnant. And I'm at the point now where I'm eating it in bed on my stomach.
Amazing.
Like it's so good. And I know it's going to end soon. So I just am living it up.
I hope it ends like tonight.
Michael can't take it. I see him because Michael like is someone who doesn't eat in the bed.
No, I don't believe in eating in the bed.
I have a fucking bed tray with like sides that I put my newspaper and my magazine in, that I put my iPad. I love eating in bed. It's my favorite thing.
This may be sexist, but I found more women like to eat in bed than men.
Okay, well then go date a guy. I am forever going to eat in bed. I love my daughter and I have slumber parties in bed. She tells me it's her favorite part of life. Mm-hmm. Wow. We have Plowman's lunch. She goes,
but you know what? They do that together, and my daughter goes on my side while they do it. And I come in and there's just crumbs everywhere.
That's annoying.
Yeah,
that's annoying.
And I'm sweeping it off the bed. You know, like when you look like a nut and you're just
that's horrible.
Wiping the sheet. Like that's
that's horrible.
God.
We will forever eat in bed.
And then Lauren's like, "Why are you making so much noise?" I'm like, "Because there's fucking crumbs everywhere." Sweet.
It's a bad feeling.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Can we do my cereal on air? Like,
leptin.
I don't have the app though. I have
Yeah.
to get it. So can
Oh.
we do it on your app? Like,
Yeah.
can Erica pull it up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the first thing that I have is I have probably a cup of real cereal. It's the flakes, corn flakes.
It's called Real cereal.
It's called real cereal. I want to see what it's rated on your app.
Interesting. That's the brand?
Yeah.
Is it that newish brand that like has the old school look to it, but
Yes,
it's made with better
yes,
ingredients?
yes.
Okay.
I want to know what your app rates it.
Yeah. That one is, well, that one uses like organic corn and everything.
I
doesn't
know.
it?
That's why I
Yeah.
want to see what the app says.
I'm pretty sure that one's Bobby approved.
I think it's Bobby approved.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's a cool new brand that I just found like a few months ago. I thought you were going to say something way worse.
It's real. No, I have another one that I mixed with it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm giving you the good one first.
Oh, it's approved.
Huh?
It's approved.
There you
Okay,
go.
so it's real. It's the cornflakes. The
Good for you.
second thing that I mix in there is Mother's Best frosted shredded wheat.
No chance.
There's no chance.
No chance.
There's
Well,
no chance.
this is a good.
Don't you love that name? Mother's Best.
This is a version. I think that's a good version.
Well, it's probably better for you than.
Been frosted.
I
yeah,
want to
we
see
frosted
why
mini
it's
wheats.
bad.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll convince me not to have it.
Yeah, I was hoping you say something I can give you an alternative to, but I don't think there's a Bobby approved frosted shredded
You
wheat.
should make one. I'm not joking.
Just abandon everything you're doing and make.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a frosted shredded wheat?
It's got cane sugar. Okay. Is it organic wheat in there too, though? No. So
So it's horrible.
I wouldn't say it's horrible, but it's probably, I mean, it's not like as bad as few as the other one.
So it's not Bobby
Let's just put it
approved.
this way: you wouldn't be swapping into it.
But
Lauren.
what's
Yeah.
wrong with it? The cane sugar?
Yeah, 12 grams of added cane sugar. So
Oh.
let's just think about it for a second, right? So 12 grams of added cane sugar is 3 teaspoons.
Okay.
So imagine 3 teaspoons of a white sugar in your bowl of cereal. It's a lot. It's a lot, right?
I do like extra too. I'm like, every night's a couple more.
Yeah.
Don't you have to be worried about like diabetes and stuff during pregnancy?
Michael, mind your own business.
I was going to say that, but I'm glad you
Mind your own business. I didn't do that test.
Yes.
Listen,
Mind your
not a
own business.
doctor.
Yeah,
But I have to ask the question.
Exactly. But
When
I can
he
give
looks
you,
at me with the eyes of when I'm eating that cereal, I'm like, don't even try.
I'll curate a list of other Bobby approved cereals for you to eat.
But it has to be frosted.
So if you want a version of Cocoa Puffs that are Bobby approved, I can hook you up.
What?
So Cocoa Puffs, bad.
Okay.
7 Sundays Cocoa Puff cereal, good.
I like that. I just bought that for my kids.
There we go. Right?
Better than the one with the panda on it.
Yes.
Oh, I just
Yes.
bought that one
See,
too.
fuzzy panda. Usually when there's fuzzy things, that's a bad thing on labels like
I know
that.
the Smacks has the frog and the
Yeah.
Lucky Charms.
But
has,
why can't the clean brands use the fuzzy pandas and get? If that's,
Maybe it's below them. They're like, we're not going to resort to stupid tricks to fool our kids.
Okay, so I'm going to exchange the fuzzy panda and get the sundae.
Here we go. 7
Okay.
Sundays, real Cocoa Puffs.
What about Magic Spoon?
So better for you than like the junky cereal, but like not even close to Bobby approved. So if you looked it up on the app, it has sunflower oil in there. It has natural flavorings. So like I'll tell people, hey, that's better than Lucky Charms, but it's not good for you.
95% of home goods on the market contain forever chemicals. That blew my mind. Also, did you guys know that plastic cutting boards shed thousands of microplastics with every use? This blows my mind because there's so many moms out there that are using plastic cutting boards and none of us know. I had a plastic cutting board forever and I just found this out. So enter Caraway. Caraway's cutting boards are constructed entirely of birch wood. They're beautiful too. I use them all the time. There's no plastics, there's no BPA, there's no nonsense. I am obsessed with their cutting boards. I have like 3. They also are very serious about their materials when it comes to cookware. So it's free of toxic materials like PFAS, PFOA, lead, and other harmful chemicals. So you really have like guilt-free cooking. You don't need to worry about all these pain points. I personally love their beige set. I've used it forever. It's non-stick and it makes a great egg. I'm not the best cook in the world, but I make a mean egg and that's thanks to Caraway. And it's nice to know that I'm cooking my farmer's market egg on something that's non-toxic. If you have been eyeing their internet famous 12-piece cookware set, now is the perfect day to buy. You can shop Caraway risk-free, enjoy fast free shipping, easy returns, and a 30-day trial. Plus, if you visit carawayhome.com/theskinny10, you can also take an additional 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/theskinny10 or use code theskinny10 at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern.
for people who partake in the consumption of alcohol, I think there are 2 camps There's the camps of people who love tequila and the camps that maybe don't like it so much. What I find is the camp that doesn't like it so much is likely not had a high quality tequila like what I'm sitting in front of here, which is a straw tequila. Likely you've had a low quality tequila, but with a straw, you have the highest quality. Right now in front of me, I have their Añejo, their Blanco, and my personal favorite, the Reposado, which funny enough, I actually use in margaritas instead of the Blanco, even though most people use a Blanco. So like I said, a straw is my go-to tequila for margaritas at home, and it doesn't just taste good. It does good too. Every bottle of a straw tequila helps build homes for families in need in Jalisco, Mexico, and after making the tequila, they upcycle leftover agave fibers into adobe bricks used to build homes in their community. How cool is that? So when you're sipping a marg, you're also supporting a great cause. Drink margs, do good. What could be better? So the way I personally like to enjoy a straw tequila is either straight on the rocks, or if I'm going to do a cocktail, I do a margarita, classic margarita, which I've talked about before. Most people, like I said, they use the Blanco, which will make a phenomenal margarita, but I actually like to use the Reposado. But what I've really been enjoying is a tequila old fashioned lately with the Añejo. A lot of people think you can only do this with whiskey, but you can actually make an incredible old fashioned with tequila and use Añejo. You know, one of the worst things you could do is kind of switch alcohols throughout the night to different spirits. So if you want to stick with tequila and enjoy maybe an old fashioned and maybe a margarita, you can do both with a straw. Try the Añejo, try the Reposado, and then maybe do one on the rocks with the Blanco. That's what I would do. So check them out. House Marg Summer is here. Time to stock up. Go to www.astraltequila.com to find a straw near you. And don't forget the limes. Please enjoy responsibly. Astral Tequila, 40% alcohol per volume. Diageo, New York, New York. Let's take a quick break to talk about Armra colostrum. We live in an environment our biology was never designed for. EMFs, artificial light, seed oils, microplastics, endocrine disruptors, chronic stress, and so much more. These modern assaults disrupt cellular signaling, negatively impact gut health, and accelerate aging. This is why Lauren and I could not be bigger fans of Armra colostrum. We had the founder of Armra on this podcast years ago. I highly suggest you go and listen to that episode. And we were blown away when she told us all about the benefits that Armra colostrum provides. What if I were to tell you that you could strengthen your immune system, fortify your gut health, vitalize hair growth, ignite your metabolism, and fuel performance and recovery, all by taking one simple scoop of Armra colostrum each morning or day? What I like to do is buy the big jug of it, and I take it right out of the jug, actually just dump the powder directly in my mouth. If you don't like that, I think it tastes great. It tastes like a little milk dud or something. But if you don't like that, you could put it in any kind of beverage. You could put it in water. You could put it in milk, any beverage of your choice. I like to take it every single morning. They also come in these travel packets that are super convenient to take to the office, on the go, when you're not at home, anytime you just want that extra pickup. And like I said, this is going to have so many different benefits. Colostrum is nature's first whole food with over 400 bioactive nutrients that work at the cellular level to reactivate your body's innate capacity to regenerate and thrive. So if you're ready to reclaim your health, we've of course worked out a special offer for our audience. Receive 15% off your first order. Go to tryarmra.com/skinny or enter skinny to get 15% off your first order. That's tryarmra.com/skinny. Again, that's tryarmra.com/skinny.
Did you know that most toilet paper has formaldehyde and chlorine in it? It also has dyes. I was shocked to know, I found out this probably a year ago, that there's all of these crazy things in toilet paper. We're wiping our most intimate areas with this all day long. My daughter is using the toilet paper. My husband's using it. I went on this wild goose chase to find the best toilet paper on the market. And while I found some brands that were great, I also wanted to create something better. And so that's what we've done at the Skinny Confidential. We have created a better choice. I was involved in every single detail of this toilet paper. We took out formaldehyde, we took out chlorine, we took out the dyes. We took out all the things that I didn't want my family exposed to. And then, of course, in our very Skinny Confidential way, we wrapped it in pink, as you can see. I wanted the experience of the delivery when you got it to be very romantic and pretty. Never are you excited about getting your monthly delivery of toilet paper, and I wanted to make you excited. So it comes in the most luxurious box. You open it, it's packaged cute, and it also has our little stamp on it. And you can put this on all of the rolls in your house and know that it's a better choice for you and your family. I am so passionate about this launch. We have been working on this launch for a long time. My team is so excited about it. It's shaking up the market. and it's disruptive, and it's everything that we want to bring to the table. So if you're looking for a better choice when it comes to your toilet paper, go to shopskinnyconfidential.com. Grab it now. We will sell out, but we're doing subscription. So I would definitely say to subscribe so you can make sure that you get it monthly. That's shopskinnyconfidential.com.
What do you think about children's supplements? This is so random, but I'm giving my kids supplements every day, and I don't want to give them Flintstone vitamins. So what are the best children's supplements?
But Flintstones are doctor recommended, Michael.
Oh,
So I mean,
pediatrician
so you're being
okay.
foolish.
Oh,
And
heart
I would
healthy.
say that I survived off of hose water and Flintstone vitamins.
And Windex, don't forget.
Yeah. In general, I think kid supplements are unnecessary.
Oh.
Yeah. This is my opinion. I think it should come from the diet. I think of the one supplement that my daughter takes is a good probiotic. So Seed makes a powdered kids probiotic. Well, that's great, right? Because like they can eat nutritious food, but getting things that foster like the microbiome and the gut, which is the second brain, really important. But I mean, think about it. Most of those things are made of like synthetic vitamins anyway. And what's the bioavailability of that? You know?
How do you think about giving your daughter food? Like, is there a method to the way that you feed her?
It's gotten a little more challenging. So she's in kindergarten.
Tell me
now.
about it.
Yeah.
Oof.
So like before that, it was like, oh, anything you put in front of her that we're eating for dinner, she would eat. But now it's gotten challenging because she goes to school, right?
And they have an opinion.
there's that too.
Like,
And so she sees the kids eating like the goldfish and like the Lay's potato chips bag. And then I notice she doesn't want to eat all the food we eat. I notice like I eat a lot of red meat. I eat a lot of grass-fed steak. I'm sure you do too. But she doesn't want that anymore. She doesn't want to chew on the food. She wants it like softer. So like I've been making Bobby approved versions of chicken nuggets. So I'll get pasture raised ground chicken and bread it in stone milled flour and fry it in avocado oil and serve it with Primal Kitchen ketchup.
And it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I want to be your child now.
So yeah, it creates more work.
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of
And you're right about them not wanting to chew, but you want them to chew because it's so good for their jaw.
Yes.
I even was like to my daughter, I was like, you can have some gum because it's good for chewing.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, you're 100% on it. All the foods we eat now are so processed and soft that like our jaw muscles are weak and everything like that.
Yeah, there's like the more I hear you talk, though, I think there's hope for people if they just apply what you're already providing out there, which is like just better for you swaps the majority of the time and consistently get off all the stuff that we know is harmful. Like the problem is most people's diets that are that don't have access to the information, they're using poor ingredients consistently all the time, multiple meals a day. Like that's what eventually kills us, right?
Yeah.
If you can just eliminate the majority of that stuff, and once in a while, like if your kid has a bag of chips at school, but the majority of the time she's eating healthy with you guys, like I think that makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. And even if you go back to cooking that own food yourself, so like even if you made like chicken nuggets like I did, or even if you had fried chicken 3 times a week, if you're making it yourself, it's miles better than getting KFC or like I did a video one time at what's the chicken place everyone goes?
Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, Chick-fil-A. And I said, why is it so addictive? And so I ordered everything and like I took a bite. I'm like, damn, that's really good. They put MSG like 3 times in there. They put foods in there that make you hooked to it, right? So if you made a fried chicken sandwich at home in avocado oil with like organic chicken, it's still not great for you, but it's a million times better than the version at Chick-fil-A.
The MSG is wild. It makes you like go to sleep.
It's crazy.
It really is wild.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to disrupt the supplement industry?
So that came about because people would always ask me like, what supplements, what proteins are Bobby approved? And supplements are interesting because like, I don't use a ton of supplements, but I do think they have a purpose and a point for a lot of people. But a lot of them have ingredients that are the opposite of what a supplementation should be. Like so many protein powders have sunflower oil and gums to make them creamy. So many vitamins, the carrier oil is corn oil and soybean oil. So I'm like, well, this is a problem because like this is not actually good for you. So like that protein in front of you, I used to always make this protein smoothie on stories after my workout, and it had like 12 hipster ingredients. It had grass-fed whey, it had grass-fed collagen, coconut milk for healthy fat, regular milk for, the viscosity, reishi mushrooms, cordyceps mushrooms. And so I thought to myself, well, could I powderize all those ingredients and put it in a bag so someone can have an all-in-one complete smoothie without gums, oils, emulsifiers, natural flavorings. And it turned out I could. And the reason why other people don't do it in the industry and make clean products in general is because it's a little harder. It's definitely more expensive, but it's the right thing to do. It's people over profits.
I like that you use whey in this with the collagen.
Yeah, and it's 100% grass-fed, undenatured whey, so it's very gut-friendly.
Yeah, a lot of people are trying to just do like the collagen now in the protein.
No.
It's not.
It's not a complete protein.
Yeah.
I'm also learning too that I've learned through this podcast that a lot of the supplements aren't even absorbing.
Yeah, bioavailability, right? Yeah. So like you're taking them.
Crazy.
And your body, like 99% of vitamin C's are made of ascorbic acid or calcium ascorbate. It's synthetically derived from corn. So like your body can't even absorb all that, right? So like, I'm like, well, I'm going to make a vitamin C and I call it See You Later. And it has acerola juice powder, camu camu powder, and amla, which are 100% bioavailable. So like it can be done. But once again, people like shortcuts and people like higher profit margins. So that's why they don't do it.
What's the majority of the pushback that you personally get when you're out there creating this kind of content?
He's not an expert. Why are you listening to him? He's not a doctor, which is funny because like doctors spend like 1 hour in their entire medical training on nutrition.
Don't get me started. I've said this and the audience was split. Some people were mad, other people were not. But we've had doctors come on that have admitted that they don't get that kind of training.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, it's not a knock on the doctors, but that you wouldn't go to them for nutrition. So I'd say that's the number one thing is that he's not an expert. Why would you listen to him? And then all of a sudden, like after I got like to a certain size of followers, like I became like a grifter and like a scam artist somehow. So like, it's like, why would you listen to him? He's a grifter. Like, I don't even understand what that means. But, for the most part, I honestly don't pay attention to that. Like,
whose content do you consume that you look to that you think is doing a really good job?
Like in general, across any medium?
Yes. Besides our podcast.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so it's interesting. So like, that's basically like all I watch at night. So like at 8 o'clock, I'll pop on YouTube and I'll usually just watch podcasts. So like, it's so different. Like sometimes like I'll just find myself watching like a Brian Johnson video just to see what crazy thing he's doing.
Have you guys ever met up?
No, I haven't met him.
We got to make that connection.
Yeah. So right. So like where that's so like above or like beyond what I would do. Like I find it interesting to just see what he's doing. Right. Maybe you could pull a little information out of there. So that's interesting. I watch a lot of creator content. So like I've been in this creator game for like 13 years. So like I like to watch podcasts from other creators who talk about like their journey and what helps them and how to be better at that. But then I'll find myself watching videos about like luxury watch market and why it's in a bear market. So it's very random.
You like watches, huh?
Yeah, I even own a watch, but I like the idea of luxury watches.
Once you start going down that rabbit hole.
I've heard it's a deep, dark, expensive hole.
I watch YouTube videos on watches. I find that interesting too.
It's very interesting. Right?
I just take note of what Michael says. Michael watches all of it, and I just sit back and tell him which one I want for my push
Lauren,
present.
You won't believe what this plastic container is doing to your food. Good night.
You just sit back with the bowl on your stomach, making crumbs while he's watching that.
People should try that mixture, but I'm going to try it with the Sunday Cocoa Puffs.
Yes.
Okay. Where can everyone follow you, find you, support what you're doing, get your all-in-one protein smoothie powder, which the berries and cream looks so good.
It's very yummy. So if you want to watch my videos and just learn how to shop cleaner, a lot of people like to watch my Costco videos because Costco has a cult following. You can just follow me on any platform, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, under Bobby Parrish.
What are you getting at Costco? What are the top 3 things?
Yeah. So like staples that I always get there. So they have a fantastic extra virgin olive oil for a great price.
Okay.
Right. In glass bottles too. And like once you go down that rabbit hole, Lauren, if you want to go down there, you'll realize that 80% plus of extra virgin olive oils are actually fake.
Have you tried Brian Johnson's snake oil, olive oil?
I haven't, but I assume that it's real.
He said Chosen Foods or Primal Kitchen.
For avocado oil.
Primal Kitchen.
Yeah, they're good for avocado oil.
Okay.
Yeah. So their extra virgin olive oil is fantastic.
Okay.
They have a great deal on Kerrygold grass-fed cheese. So Kerrygold is 95% grass-fed.
Love it.
Right? Not raw, but it's hard to find that. That's a must. They actually have really great snacks there. They have grass-fed beef sticks there. And they actually just got these grass-fed Wagyu beef sticks from Epic Bar, which I think is an Austin
I
company.
saw you post that.
Yeah. Delicious.
Okay.
Delicious. And then pantry staples, like if you want to get high protein, lean foods, they have the best prices on lead-free tuna, wild-caught canned salmon, and stuff like that. So, if you want to learn more, there's a video called The Top 25 Things to Buy at Costco in 2025 on YouTube, it will cover everything there.
We got to tell your dad that. Your dad's a big Costco
Oh my
shopper.
God. He's like the only guy that doesn't get carded there. He just lives
Really?
there.
You know what
Nice.
I like at Costco? A big hot dog.
Is that approved?
No, it's not. It's super cheap.
Those hot
It's super
dogs,
cheap.
though, are so
Isn't that
good.
crazy that you can get like a foot-long hot dog and a soda for like under $2? Is that right?
And a pizza.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Crazy. Yeah.
It's those, but you know what you can't buy at Costco? The toilet paper. I have to give you some of my toilet paper.
I heard you have non-toxic toilet paper.
I
right?
have clean toilet paper.
I would love to try
which
that.
is Bobby approved. Can I get on the app?
Yes, we will submit your product to
It
the
has
app right now.
no formaldehyde and no chlorine.
Yeah, that's one of those rabbit hole things that if you do go down it, you realize like, yikes, I'm wiping my butt. with some
I
pretty
went
nasty
down the
stuff.
rabbit hole
Yeah.
of toilet paper.
Yeah.
We live in a fucking rabbit hole.
No, the rabbit hole of toilet paper. I think I should be on the Bobby approved app.
I'm sure it's there already. We can check.
I love
We
it.
can check. So yeah, so you go to YouTube, any platform, search my name, Bobby Parrish.
We have a code too.
Yeah, so if you want to get the supplements, so we have the all-in-one protein smoothie. Summer's coming. We have electrolytes. It's one of the only ones on the market that uses real organic fruit instead of natural flavorings, which
Love
is the biggest
it.
lie in the grocery store. We have these sleep gummies that are made of phytomelatonin that are the same thing plants and flowers open and close at night. That's the same melatonin from plants.
And it's the first seed oil free, refined sugar free gummy.
Correct. There's no other gummy on the market. And I thought, is there a reason why? Oh, yeah, it's a little harder to make. It's a little more expensive, but you can do it. So all those products, yeah. So I think we created a promo code. If you go to the website, shopflavcity.com, you can get 15% off site-wide just for Skinny Confidential users with code SKINNY.
Thank you for that.
And if you guys want to do a giveaway or something like that?
Sure, let's do a giveaway. Let's give away all of Bobby's favorite products. Bobby approved. All you guys have to do is tell us your favorite part of this episode on my latest post at Lauren Bostic and follow Bobby on Instagram, which is
Bobby Parrish.
easy.
I think our favorite part of the podcast is learning that Michael has to sleep in crumbs of your cereal.
You know what?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. You know what I have to
You know
sleep
what?
in?
It's
Wait,
not
hold on.
Michael
You want to go
approved.
down this rabbit hole? You know what I have to sleep in? I just bought silk pillowcases, gorgeous silk pillowcases, fucking monogrammed with his initials on it.
Wow.
He gets in bed the other day with his hair gel that we just found out has jet fuel in it. Lays
does not have jet
his
fuel.
hard helmet head on
No,
the
it's soft.
pillow
It's soft.
all over the brand new silk pillowcase. And then he wants
No, it's natural. The
me to lay on
Organic
the
Bunny
jet
gave
fuel.
me Jack Henry. I think that's
What I used to.
Jack Henry.
It's amazing.
It's not jet fuel in there.
That's
No, it's not jet
there's jet fuel in the
No,
and
it's mango butter.
no. There's jet fuel in his hairspray. Don't let him trick
Oh,
you.
hairspray's a no-go.
No,
Hairspray's not Bobby
that's a no-go.
approved.
I have 0.0% hairspray in my hair right now. I swear.
Okay.
I swear.
But the
Because I
pillowcase is
threw it
real.
away.
Yeah, that hurts.
Because I threw it away.
Yeah, that's why. Because she threw it away. Literally, she threw the whole thing
I
away.
threw it away. I'm not, no, because someone came on the podcast and told us that hairspray has jet fuel.
You
in
know what? When she irritates me now, I'm just going to look at her and be like, this is not Michael approved.
I've decided that I'm
You
not
should.
going to hook up with you anymore if you are wearing hairspray.
We'll see about that.
Actually, I hate perfume too. So like those perfumes and fragrances, like I will not hook up with my wife if she wears perfume.
Yeah, I don't
You
wear
heard it
fragrances.
here first.
Yeah.
That's an exclusive, a Skinny Confidential exclusive. He does not hook up with his wife if she's wearing perfume. And guess what? You heard it here first. I will no longer hook up with you if you are wearing jet fuel on your hair.
I will make you a bet that that's not true.
Bobby, thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Bobby.